All right. Do my best. Try not to get.
All right. I think we're ready if you guys are.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Good? All right. Yep, go ahead. Tell us a little bit, if you want to introduce who this is and then who you guys have, and then tell us a little bit about what this week holds for you.
All right. So good evening. I'm Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison. Behind me, you'll see members of our federal partners, the U.S. Border Patrol, U.S. Marshal Service, and I also have a member of my administration, would be Chief Ryan Moody, who's overseeing our detectives unit as Chief of Operations. I appreciate all of you coming here today. We're going to give an update just based off our operations that we've been conducting. These were pre-planned operations for a fourth search related to the Travis Decker case. And this is going to be in regards to the murder of Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia. Again, we have not lost sight of what we're focused on doing, and that's bringing justice to those three girls. We are close to justice being served and law prevailing. During our search yesterday around 15:30 hours, that'd be 3:30 p.m., our search teams did locate an anomaly that was seen in AI imaging from our drones. In closer inspection, when we got that, we did see that it was potentially a shirt. We were able to get units on the ground that did confirm that the shirt was consistent with what we had seen in previous surveillance photos with Travis Decker. So I am confirming the shirt that we saw on scene is a match for what Travis was last seen wearing. In addition to shorts, which were U.S. Rangers shorts, they were also a match, and also personal items to include chewing tobacco that was consistent with what he had chewed, a bracelet, which is consistent with what we'd seen in photos of him wearing. So collecting those items, we've since sent them off to the Washington State Patrol's crime lab. We're hopeful that we'll get those results back soon. I appreciate Chief John Batiste and the Washington State Patrol for continuing to be a constant ally for us. Even in my call this morning, I asked if he could expedite it. I understand the Chelan County Sheriff's Office is not the only agency within Washington State investigating a homicide and looking for quick results back from a DNA test. So Chief Batiste, Washington State Patrol, we appreciate it. We understand there are a lot of pressure. Going through the processing of the decomposition that we found amongst that clothing has been challenging for the State Patrol's crime lab. They were able to get DNA off that sample, and they are comparing it to the DNA samples that we have in place for Travis Decker. I have asked them to take their time, not rush this. This has been a thorough investigation up to this point. We don't want any mistakes made. Our investigative team has continued to be out on the ground today with Washington State Patrol's crime lab team. We've also had members of the FBI's crime lab team out here assisting us. We found additional body parts today to include 2 feet, some femurs, and also some vertebrae. We've requested that these items also be sent off to Washington State Patrol's crime lab for additional testing to be compared. Again, we do not want to rush this process. We'd like to have DNA results this evening, but I understand in the interest of justice to ensure this case is handled properly, we have asked them to stand by, test more samples, and we hope to get those in the next couple of days. We're appreciative for our federal partners that have continued to be biased throughout this process. We recognize that we're trying to bring closure to this community. And more importantly, we're trying to bring pressure to our allies to come and give us more assistance where needed. But we do appreciate the fact that Whitney and her family have been very cooperative with us, and we're trying to bring them peace of mind and closure for this. We think we're one step closer. As soon as we get the results back, we are optimistic that these results will confirm that we have located Mr. Decker. But until that time, we're going to stand by and wait for the 100% confirmation. For the meantime, I'm going to bring up the representative from the U.S. Marshals, who have been our ally since day one, assisting us, leading the search effort, and I'll go ahead and let him take questions.
Hi, my name is Gavin Duffy. I'm the Chief Deputy United States Marshal from the Eastern District of Washington.
You guys have been on site. You've been part of this for months now, 3.5 months. You've pretty much been working hand in hand with Chelan. Can you explain why it took so long to be able to find this specific spot? It's less than a mile from where that campground is.
I mean, I think if we look behind us into the backdrop here, the terrain is extremely complex, some of which would, is hard to find anywhere in this country. And that's kind of what we found. I mean, it's incredibly steep. It's incredibly rocky. And that's why we have some of the experts, our special operations group and our partners with Border Patrols, BORSTAR and BORTAC, who are all 3 experts in this terrain to do it. And I think we're pretty proud of the fact, using all the resources we could across the law enforcement and public safety spectrum to really drill down and find these remains, which we're very, very hopeful and fairly confident.
Can you tell me a little bit about what it was like whenever whoever the teams were that initially went up there? They were those people that ended up identifying that shirt, seeing those pants. That was that moment. You guys thought, oh, I think we got him. Can you explain a little bit about what that feels like for you?
I think it's the 1 yard line. I mean, we want to get across the goal line with the DNA, but we're pretty, it's a good feeling. We put a lot of work. I mean, hundreds of people in law enforcement and other career fields have touched this case because of its importance to this Chelan and to the state. So to get to that 1 yard line where we are right now, maybe even a little closer, it felt pretty good for everybody working this case in any way.
There were some people online that were curious if Travis Decker would have gone north to Canada or south to Mexico. What do you say to people who were curious about him ever going that far, in your expert opinion?
Well, I mean, we appreciate the curiosity, right? I mean, we're in the business of finding fugitives and human beings, and they do unique things. And so, I mean, that's how we're thinking as well. But we use fact-based policing, and we utilize our partnerships with other agencies, state, local, and federal, and we kind of narrow in on where we need to be looking. And for the most part, we're pretty successful most of the time.
Is this search in that area wrapped up? Is anyone going back up to that site at all?
At this point, no, we're going to shut it down for the night. But if something changes, then we'll be right back to it. And then we're on to the next case. And if there's another case in the mountains, I'm pretty confident Border Patrol will be with us. And we'll be back at it with the state police and specifically the Spokane County Sheriff's Department as well.
Based on the evidence found there, if it is Travis Decker's remains, did it look like someone had been camping there a while or someone on the move?
Ma'am, I don't really have the answer to that specific question.
Can you tell me a little bit about what, say, the next few days looks like for you? Is this something that's going to be more searching, more field work, or is this just now waiting for that DNA evidence?
I think it's a lot of waiting.
How does that feel?
You want to be, again, you want that 100% confidence in what we're doing, and in this situation, because of DNA, we can get there. But I think we'll be looking at our phones, but moving on with the rest of our weekends and traveling back to wherever we're from.
Can you tell me a little bit about the condition of those bones and those pieces that you found? Were they gnawed by animals? Is that something that seemingly disturbed up there?
Ma'am, I really don't know the answer to that, nor would I be an expert on that matter. Fugitives I can help with, but anthropology, I'm a little limited.
Can you say whether a firearm was discovered with Mr. Decker?
I do not believe there was, no.
Any hint of foul play there, just based on an initial look at the scene?
Again, as an experienced fugitive investigator, I'd leave that to the homicide investigators and the very qualified Chelan County team. So I'm not in a position to really feel that one.
This is obviously hit close to home for a lot of people. Wenatchee's a very small community, so is Chelan County. Any message you have in terms of the importance of closing a case like this?
Well, I think everybody wants this closure across the community, and I mean, it's national level attention. We all want closure on this case, but so we're really hoping we get across, to keep using the analogy, to get across the goal line and be done with this. But, for the Marshal Service and every member of law enforcement, from here, we just move on to the next violent fugitive. And that's unfortunate, but that's the reality.
Sheriff Morrison, if I could ask you a question.
Absolutely.
You guys are from here, you live here.
Yes, ma'am.
Your guys have been part of this since day one. Kind of the same question for you.
Mhm.
You've met with family, you guys know these people. How does it feel knowing you're so close to 3.5 months of just anxiety maybe coming to an end?
We understand the work's not done. We're still in the midst of a homicide investigation. And as you asked too, if something were to have happened to Travis that was not natural or of his own cause, we're going to investigate it as a homicide investigation. We owe that to his family. We owe that to him. He's still a human being. He was a brother. He was a son. He was a family member. So again, I find his acts to be heinous and what he's alleged to have conducted and done. But overall, still going to treat him with respect. I said this throughout the process. We didn't want any harm to come to him, and we'll still treat his remains with the kind of respect that anyone would deserve. So we'll look into it, but we understand this is one step closer, as we said, to serving justice and ensuring that the law was issued. So we want to make sure this is closed out properly. We want to make sure the family has the closure. I want Whitney to sleep better at night. I want her family to sleep better at night. I want the community to know that our agency does not give up, no matter how daunting and how challenging the task is. We understand this was not easy. We get the community's frustration. We get our citizens' frustration. But overall, we'd love to have had this done in 3 days. Absolutely. It would have saved us a lot of resources. But it wasn't for a lack of trying. It wasn't for a lack of resources. We brought in some of the best minds in the country, from the FBI, the U.S. Marshal Service, U.S. Forest Service, even the U.S. Army's Criminal Investigation Division. We brought in experts in that field. We did everything. We talked with each other. We met afterwards, debriefed to make sure that we didn't make any mistakes, and continue to do everything possible. We understood this could be a criminal case that was going to trial. We didn't want any chance that this would be defeated when we went to trial. And again, I think we're close to the goal we wanted. But we're not going to rush. We're not going to pat ourselves in the back yet. We're not going to say congratulations until we get the results back and we know 100% this is Travis Decker. That is our suspect. That is our only suspect. That is the only evidence that we have shows that he's our suspect. So just to confirm, that is who we are looking for. That's who I believe we found, and we hope the Washington State Patrol can confirm that soon.
One last question.
Nope. Again, I'm not going to put pressure on Washington State Patrol's crime lab. I want them to take their time. I want them to make sure those results are 100% confirmed. Again, this is closing out a very significant case in our county's history. This was the largest manhunt in Chelan County history. This is the most heinous homicide in Chelan County history. And we need to make sure it's closed properly and that we make sure that we're convincing our community that we did the right thing, we have the right subject, and there's no other person out there.
And one last question for me. I don't know if it's for you or Gavin. I saw in the press release that there was a key fob that was found. If one of you could talk a little bit about that. I believe it was found in the river.
Correct. Yeah, so we had a follow-up, and we really appreciate Sheriff Knowles and Spokane County Sheriff's Office for not only bringing their helicopter out here with their air support unit, but also bringing members of their dive team, and they were able to get into spots that National Park Service and our Chelan County Sheriff's Office Swiftwater Rescue Team were not able to get into, since there are spots you'd have to get underneath debris, and they were able to find a key fob in close proximity to our scene, which was great. I mean, it's an additional piece of evidence. We've collected it, we've put it in our evidence room, and it's been logged, but again, that's what it shows for cooperation and teamwork and just bringing additional resources that we didn't have. So we do not have a dive team here at Chelan County Sheriff's Office. Historically, we did, but again, appreciation to Sheriff Knowles and his team for coming in and assisting us further. All right, appreciate everybody.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thanks. Have a good night.
So we're actually going to come right back to on camera with me. I want to kind of wrap